Moinsen, this is Sebastian and I made a Game Boy shell out of wood.
This is the Game Boy of a retrophile. Not as clumsy or mundane as injection molding. An elegant Game Boy for a more civilized age.
A few months ago I got myself a CNC router, and as a little project to learn how to use the machine I made a Game Boy cartridge. It was just a YouTube short and not supposed to turn into a full video, but people asked for more. So I made a full Game Boy out of walnut wood, and here's the video about how I made it. It's a bit less technical than some of the other videos on my channel, and I'm trying to give someone with no CNC background an idea of how this works. Those who want to learn about the exact toolpath should check out my blog at There Ought to Be. Just like on the 3D printer, most of the work went into creating a 3D model of the object. However, unlike a 3D printer, you do not just let a slicer do its magic to generate machine code from the 3D model, but instead you create several toolpaths with different bits. I used 9 different tools for this project, which all have different properties and can achieve different geometries. All just by spinning at 10,000 RPM. And so, it starts with a board of walnut wood. So this is the bottom half of the Game Boy shell. Usually you do not want to keep the raw wood, but add some finish for protection and to bring out the wood grain. I use linseed oil, which results in a more wooden and natural look than, for example, a clear coat. When the oil has hardened, I take the original mainboard from an old broken Game Boy I got on eBay and simply screw it into my wooden clone. All other parts besides the mainboard are non-original replacements, like these battery contacts. Next, it is time to make the top half of the shell. For the top half I do not use original parts. While I always made a point of using entirely unmodified Game Boys to demonstrate that my hacks work with original hardware, there's no reason to put up with an old broken screen for a custom built Game Boy. So I use a modern display mod instead. And since the old walnut wood is so dark, I thought that white buttons would make a beautiful contrast. Do you agree? Unfortunately, while screwing the PCB to the shell worked very well, just tapping the tiny original Game Boy screws into the wood to connect both halves was not very reliable, so I ended up using wood glue to keep the shell together. I probably have to break it if I ever want to access the original Game Boy parts inside, but at least no original parts were glued or damaged. The battery cover is a bit harder to copy exactly with wood, so instead I decided to put it in place with magnets. And for the grand finale, what would be more fitting than an oak and walnut version of the wood cartridge? An ash one? Didn't think of that. Damn. As mentioned at the beginning, you can find more details and the production files for the wood Game Boy shell on my blog at There Ought to Be. There's a link in the video description, and with that, I'm out. Ciao.